Good evening. Welcome to Word Now at 4. I am Wisdom Onisi. First, the headlines. Federal government unveils plans to resettle displaced Nigerians. Kenya scientists race to create anti-venom as snake bite victims grow. Spain, Ireland, Norway set to recognize Palestinian statehood. And on sports, Petrovic and Mitrovic picked in Serbia's Euro squad. Now the news in details. Vice President Kashim Shettima has called for a global partnership to address the problem of internal displacement in Nigeria, pledging the federal government's unwavering commitment to ensuring the safety and well-being of displaced citizens. He outlined the strategy adopted by the President Bola Tinubu administration in tackling Nigerians' internal displacement challenge, saying the nation prioritizes the welfare of its people, particularly the current critical times. The Vice President made the call yesterday during the launch of the State Action Plans on Durable Solution to Internal Displacement at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. President of the Nigerian Labour Congress NLC, Joe Ajerol, and Managing Director of Financial Derivatives and Companies, Bismarck Rawen, traded words over organized labor's 615,000 naira minimum wage demanded, which has been reduced to 497,000 naira. While Rawen contended that the minimum wage being demanded by labor was not feasible, Ajerol insisted that the demand is in line with the social-economic realities of Nigeria at the moment. This came as the presidency yesterday said the 497,000 naira demanded by labor as the new minimum wage was unrealistic and advised labor to be serious in its demand. Speaking in his opening remarks at the summit, Ajerol, who was panelist at the discourse, posited that the prices of most essential items and other services from transportation and electricity to food had skyrocketed. The Nigerian Southwestern Oyo State health workers took part in a drive to spread information about the vaccine in local villages. First introduced as part of routine immunization program in October last year, the HPV vaccine, developed to help prevent cervical cancer, was extended to a majority of Nigerian states on Monday. The HPV vaccine is now available across the country. In Nigeria, cervical cancer is third most common cancer and the second most frequent cause of cancer death among women aged between 15 and 44 years, according to the United Nations. In 2020, the latest year for which data is available, the country recorded 12,000 new cases and 8,000 deaths from cervical cancer.
It's safe and it doesn't have any negative effects on the girls, because there are some rumors going around that they want to reduce the fertility of the girls, but we have been educating the parents that this vaccine is safe. The only thing it does is it prevents cervical cancer. The vaccine is safe and it doesn't have any negative effects.
Ahead of the nationwide vaccination drive, Nigerian authorities had been ramping up campaigns online and offline to educate citizens about the HPV vaccine. When we return, news from other parts of Africa. Please stay with us. Uganda has rolled out a nationwide yellow fever vaccination campaign to help safeguard its population against the mosquito-borne disease that had long posed as a threat. Ugandan authority had vaccinated 12.2 million of the 14 million people targeted, said Michael Banganizi, an official in charge of immunization at the health ministry. Uganda will now require everyone traveling to and fro from the country to have a yellow fever vaccination card as the international health regulation, Banganizil said. Ugandan authority requirements will compel more people to get the yellow fever shot amid a general atmosphere of vaccine hesitancy that worries healthcare providers in the East African nation. The residents in Kitui County, Kenya, live in constant fear of venomous snake bites as dangerous snakes move closer to their settlement. As the forests around them dwindle due to logging and agricultural expansion and the climate patterns become increasingly unpredictable, the reptiles are encroaching on human territory with alarming frequency. When there is a lot of rain, snakes are carried by floods to their homes. Snakes are in their mountains when there are no rains. They come down to look for food, says villager Anna Kangali. We move to the other parts of the world after this break. Welcome back. Now news from other parts of the world. Israeli tanks reached the center of Rafah for the first time on Tuesday. Witnesses said 3 weeks into a ground operation in the southern Gaza city that has sparked global condemnation. The tanks were spotted near Al-Wadal Mosque, a central Rafah landmark, the witnesses told newsmen. The Israeli military said its forces continue to operate in the Rafah area without commenting on reported advancement into the city center. Overnight, its forces pounded the city with airstrikes and tank fire, residents said, pressing its offensive despite an international outcry over an attack on Sunday that sparked a blaze in a tent camp, killing at least 45 Palestinians, more than half of them children, women, and the elderly. Since the strike, at least 26 more people have been killed by Israeli fire in Rafah, officials in the enclave run by Hamas militants said. Spain, Ireland, and Norway will officially recognize a Palestinian state on Tuesday, despite an angry reaction from Israel, which has found itself increasingly isolated after 7 months of conflict in Gaza. By joining more than 140 of the 193 member states of the United Nations that recognize a Palestinian state, Madrid, Dublin, and Oslo said they sought to accelerate efforts to secure a ceasefire in Israel's war with Hamas in Gaza. Spain will recognize a unified Palestinian state, including the Gaza Strip and the Palestinian National Authority with East Jerusalem as its capital, he said. Ukraine's president said on Tuesday that if U.S. President Joe Biden missed a peace summit organized by Kyiv in Switzerland next month,